Hi, I am doing my video a little bit differently today, in part because it's my birthday and I'm about to head out sledding with my family. So I'm going to try doing a Facebook Live video instead of recording it ahead of time today. Um, I'm not sure if that's going to change the way that people can see the, the images I'm showing. If I can't quite figure out a way to flip my camera around, but hopefully you'll be able to see things okay. Today is actually World Read Aloud Day. February 3rd this year is World Read Aloud Day. Hopefully you've been reading aloud to family or friends, or you got to do a read aloud with a guest reader at school. I chose today to read one of the things that I've written. I haven't yet read something that I've written for a read aloud event either this year or any other year. I always bring in another book that someone has written that I really like and like to discuss with classes. But this year I thought, since it's on my birthday, why not? I'll read something that I've written. So I'm going to read a poem that I wrote called The Wordsmith. And I wrote it for a poetry competition that happens every March called Madness Poetry. And in Madness Poetry, we're given a word. And with that word, you get to write whatever poem you can think of that uses that word in some way. I actually don't even remember what word I was given. It might have been the word wordsmith. But this is the poem that I wrote, and I had my kids draw up some illustrations for it. So this will be kind of my title picture that Sully drew for me. It's called The Wordsmith. And there's our little main character, Wendell, and he is working in his word shop. And then Everett illustrated every stanza for me. So I'll show his illustrations as I read the poem. He just did these yesterday and today for me. Wendell was a wordsmith. Every day he'd wake and head out to his word shop to see what he could make. He'd work out there for hours, the shop abuzz with sound of hammering and welding, clank, whir, zzz, whop, pound. He'd saw a word in half and tinker with a letter, saw a little more to fit the sizing better. He'd nail a piece from here, hot glue a scrap from there, making masterpieces with Wendell-tastic flair. He'd cut a word like coat, then paste it back as one, but in a different order, 'cause taco is more fun. I don't know if you can see the illustration Everett made there, where he's changing the word. Then he did the same to ocean and turned it to canoe, sawed apart a spoon when only Snoop would do. He built new word creations, finding sounds to mix, Nazatap and Ropful, Vogue and Wibbersticks. Constructing wordy weirdness, inventions all his own, often awfully useful in spite of their unknown. They helped him with his sister, who teased him to a fault. He needed to launch bugs at her, thus built the catapult. This little catapult that launches bugs at his sister. From there the work came easy. A hairplane for his pop to fetch toupees as needed from shelving up on top. He gave his cat a purpose, ate payments at the bank, invented calculation to count the milk he drank. And Everett drew him eating little coin-shaped mints, little payments, and he's drinking his milk while calculating it. He made tricycles for brother when he was scared to ride, created splatistrophic when paints were spilled inside. Look at that splatistrophic mess. Now, some of his inventions worked better as a thought. An outlet full of toys? That sounds good. Toilet did not. And when the sun was setting, ending every day, Wendell's work would cease. He'd tuck his tools away. Heading to his bed, into sleep he'd fall, to the gentle dancing of shadows on his wall. and he'd spend the nighttime dreaming of floating, flying words. He'd store them till the morning on wings of remembereds. The end. That is my story for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this past week as I've done read alouds. It is one of my favorite things to do as an author. So hopefully you've enjoyed some of the stories that we've shared with you, and we will make more of these videos maybe later in the year. Have a great World Read Aloud Day. Bye.